my belly feels free of desire. My spine tingles with each thrust you take in sight. When the pressure of heat builds in my vaginal walls, I become like a volcano, ready to erupt at the height of my orgasm. Oh! No one, my dear, has ever come close to this love.
You know, people just said, "Oh hell no," and went somewhere else.
So much
Well, they need to grow up.
for you, my dear.
Somebody needs to grow up.
They need to grow up.
It might not be all that stuff.
That's why we got so many issues. People don't want to talk about it.
That's your last week, but that's when I'm changing that shit.
You gotta have something just as hot.
There's what 50 years of radio and shit on here. I'm sure we can find something.
Everyone, welcome to the Intimacy Chronicles. Hello, YouTubers, Facebookers, and Instagrammers. And tonight, to my right, is my co-host.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, your Ace Boom Coon, Dr. Love, your boy Big Nate. What's happening? What's happening?
And to my left is that other dude.
The other dude, the other guy.
You called them Jim Crow.
Jim Crow.
Oh, y'all want to start with me today? Oh no,
Mr. Jim Crow.
You know what? Y'all are just too much material. Oh, let me roll up my sleeves.
I was
I'm
just
about to
saying,
dig in.
Mr. Jim Crow himself.
Look here, hey Kool-Aid. I want to hear shit out your mouth.
First name Uncle, last name Tom.
We got Kool-Aid and mint julep
my
over here.
God. I like mint julep. I think that's kind of hot.
You like Kool-Aid?
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it.
Hey, if you black from the projects, I don't know nobody who don't like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Busting through the walls and whatnot.
Oh
Hey.
yeah, that's you. How come I just got that visual of you busting through the walls? No shade, but I'm just saying I got
It's
the
all
visual.
shit.
I'm just,
It's all shit.
Don't let him
my
bring a
bad.
bad
You know what he did? He almost had
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
he almost
yeah,
had
he-
me.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
He almost had me.
Don't do that.
I cracked under the pressure.
Yeah, come on now. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It ain't hard.
So now that we got the jokes out the way, joining us tonight is Starkim, and I have to say, first of all, I pretty much love everything that he posts because I feel like he's always trying to educate us and improve on his community, and I think that we all can benefit from your knowledge and vice versa. So I'm excited about having him here. I just have to warn you, we are a little nuts at times, you know, and we can go left at any given moment. So
Like Beyonce.
It's all good. It's all good. You're gonna get it right.
we
You
gonna-
might-
that's
you might get
exactly-
blindsided.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
it's all
because one of us is petty. We're not saying who.
Petty
but,
Murphy.
Hey, Kool-Aid.
Uh-huh.
Probably the one who said that they petty.
I own it. You know, I am
Okay.
petty.
Petty
so.
McHugh.
I'm used to everything. I'm from the hood too.
Right.
There you
so,
Everything.
and we talk about pretty much everything, from sex to a lot of taboo topics that affect our community.
Right.
Last week we actually had a discussion about the birds and the bees. Interestingly enough, a lot of people in my generation didn't know the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
In your
brought it up
generation?
in my generation. Don't say it like I'm old, I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
I'm just
okay?
Already shade?
I
Already?
know, already.
You
No,
just
no.
got here.
I had to make them feel welcome, you
I
know?
feel welcome. I like that great introduction you gave. I just want to catch it and yam it down. That's all.
So yeah, and I think for me, the reason I brought it up was because my granddaughter was saying that her mom talked to her, and I said, well, how did you think about the conversation? She said, I thought it was dumb. And I said, it's funny that you said that because I thought it was dumb. I mean, never in creation have a bird and bee mated that I know of. So when they say birds and the bees, I didn't know how they made the connection. So the story that her mom told her was that a bird was sitting on the bench and a bee came over to talk to the bird, and they got married and had children. Ridiculous, exactly. But
Let me tell you like this. In 39 years, have I never heard that story.
Yeah. And
You just told a story for the first time to my ears, and I've never known that.
Same here. I just assumed that birds and bees were dealing with procreation somehow, some way, but never that they got together.
yeah.
But when we was coming up, okay, let me tell you about the birds and the bees. And I'm saying, like most people,
2 birds, 2 bees.
no, a bird and a bee can have sex.
And I think that's what a lot of people would think, because they
Somebody
say,
gonna
have
get
you had
stung.
the talk of the birds and the bees? So I say, you know what, because I never had the talk, so let me look this up so I can give her the right information.
Right.
So the story went, the bee represented the male reproductive system because the bee fertilizes flowers. The bird lays an egg, but nobody says how the egg got fertilized.
That's right up there with the Easter bunny.
Exactly.
And Santa Claus coming down the chimney.
Right. I can kind of go with the bee thing because of a bee stings, it inserts. So I can kind of go with that, but there's no connection between the two.
What if it having just sex talk?
Yeah, and again, it's because people are so afraid to have that discussion
Right.
with children,
Right.
and we
That was
we
like
cripple
taboo.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Taboo.
exactly,
A lot of taboo
exactly.
stuff in our community, especially.
You're
Let
right.
me tell you, when we was coming up, man, like we didn't understand sex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think our limit, I'm gonna say my generation.
That's right. Get it right.
I think we took it past. We were scared to take it past the feeling.
Right.
Like we would feel, we would kiss, hug, put our arm around,
Right.
but no, we didn't know anything about the grinding. You know what I'm saying? Like getting close and doing all of this. Maybe there were times that we would pretend like we was doing it, like hump a little bit or whatever, like a dry
that's
hump.
what we did.
But
yeah.
other than that, if we I think it was like a line, because the videos that they show now, they just throw the sex out there now.
You can learn more now.
Yeah, you can learn more on the TV.
Yeah.
But we didn't have them kind of videos coming up. So
We had
to see that, you know what I'm saying? Like prime example, when a woman's baby, when she's having a baby, we thought that was the disgustingest thing ever. To see a baby just come out of you know what I'm saying? Like that was disgusting for us. Like we didn't even want to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Or thinking about your parents doing it.
huh?
Or thinking about your parents doing it. That was like things you did.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to think about my parents doing it, but I knew they were doing it.
Did you ever catch him?
I remember, because I was a nosy child, right?
There we go.
So nosy. I remember I was up and I was like, what is that noise? Then all of a sudden my father come walking to the bathroom butt ass naked, and I'm like hitting my brother, child, they was doing it. He said, what, what are you talking about? What is doing it?
He walking through the house like, you want some more air and baby
yeah,
boy?
Exactly. So, and it's funny because every time I see baby boy, I think of that because I'm like, Daddy was sashaying down the hallway, ass out and everything, so it makes me laugh, you know?
Funny. That's funny.
They must have came from the same cloth, but my dad used to do the same thing.
Yeah, like they hit a home
Scarred
run
us.
and it's like,
No, scarred us.
oh, so, okay,
My father was well endowed. So,
okay.
So I would look at my cousins and then we be looking at our package and then look at his package. Man, we got a long way to go, bro.
Yeah, that's another thing, you know, as a male child and you see your dad and then you look at yours, are you like, damn, I hope mine grow like that, you know?
Like, hey, what's going on? What's happening?
I can't even recall if a young man has ever even not did that.
Yeah.
Because I sure did
Yeah.
that. Look at
Something wrong.
what is
like,
wrong?
Yeah. You
What the
analyze
fuck is
that.
wrong, man?
Yeah.
Wait a
That's
minute.
hilarious.
Are you gonna get? So you next thing you know, you find yourself trying to stretch that motherfucker.
And
You know,
that's a smart
come
move.
on, you know.
That's a smart move. No, let me tell you something. I didn't know that was a good thing to actually work the muscle.
Yeah.
Again, these are taboo conversations.
Yeah.
Had we understood these things, that it was all right to have these conversations, we
Right.
would be better off.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I
so
agree.
a muscle unused suffers atrophy.
Right. Exactly.
So it's a lot of people who's I'm not gonna touch myself. They're flaccid, and you're flaccid being pale in comparison.
Exactly.
Because they just felt that was just hands off, but they should have been
Right.
hands on.
Exactly.
You gotta work that muscle.
And
you want
we
to grow.
talk about that a lot, you know, because I tell people all the time, like I started watching porn when I was between 8 and 9 years old. And I loved it.
Okay.
You know.
I snuck and watched it young as well.
Yeah, and I'm the one that got the VCR stuck in the machine, got the tape stuck in the machine, and so
you blew yourself up.
yeah, I mean, and my mom was trying to watch a movie, and she said, "Who the hell was it?" And my brothers was like Jackie because they didn't want to get in trouble for it, and she wasn't surprised, but
They
I
gave you
mean,
up.
they did.
No
they,
cigarette, no
oh
nothing.
my God, they say I was exhausting because I was always into something. But at a young age, I started playing with myself. And, you know, I tell people that, and I think women in particular, they're so not able to connect with themselves like that. And I feel like there are many, you know, health benefits from it. And also, you can better assist
It's
your
body.
mate. Exactly.
You get to know it.
Get to know it, and you can help your mate better please you because you know what works for you. You know, and for a man, like if I say, oh, I don't like this doesn't work, I need you to raise me up this way because I want to have multiple orgasms. Don't get the ego and say, don't tell me how to please a woman, you know, because I know sometimes men do that. I mean, don't put your head down because you probably wanna. You just ran him out.
Okay.
Shade.
Get hot. The kitchen get hot.
Yeah. But I'm just
Shade.
saying, you have to be like open-minded when a woman is trying to tell you what works. You can't say, don't tell me what to do, because it's not that. It's just she wants to have a great experience just like she wants to give you a great experience. So you kind of got to be open-minded. And I feel like a lot of times relationships suffer because neither party want to listen, or it might be just the one party that wants to listen. So you got to have that door of communication open.
You need to.
Yeah.
Communication is very
I mean,
important.
nobody wants, you know, excuse my French, a dead fuck.
Nah, no. Listen, I never wanted one, but apparently there are some people that call rapists.
Yeah, well.
Or what do you call it? Necrophiliacs?
Necrophiliac. Yeah.
So, you know, there's some exceptions
Well, it's
to
a
the rule.
fetish.
Yeah.
I would imagine, you know.
Right.
But
Not me. I need you a lot
you need.
of
I was going to say that you need an active participant.
Or maybe I can slap you, make sure you're all right. You still with me?
Right.
Ask questions on that one, partner. You know what I'm saying?
Still with me?
Right, because I mean, and even because I have this discussion with friends and all, and you know, I'm like, so what's your favorite position? You know, do you just lay there? You know, because men always say, don't just lay there like
Bump of the ball.
yeah, exactly. But I have a couple of friends that are like that. You
That's
know,
because they haven't probably because they haven't gotten in tune with themselves.
right, and that's a lot of it. You know, I find that women are they think it's nasty to play with yourself.
It's your body.
They don't get that concept. Nate, we have this discussion quite often. I mean, like we go off site and do the show and we're always talking about different things, and there's always one or two women that'll say, oh, that's nasty. Why would I have to do that? Duh.
Because it's you. If there was nobody else here, you would do something.
Exactly.
The first love is self-love, and the first knowledge is self-knowledge.
Exactly.
So if you don't know how to please you, how you going, like you said before, how you going to tell somebody how you like to be
Exactly.
pleased?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So grow up.
So grow up. Yeah, exactly.
Act like an adult for once. What Jay-Z said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I mean, because I think that we handicap ourselves when we're not able to have a healthy conversation about these things.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah, last week we talked about the Bill Cosby verdict.
Mm.
So I like to hear your opinion on that.
Man, I'm trying to figure out how you bring somebody up on charges 30 years later. You just woke up and said, you know what, I think he raped me.
You said that last week, but he
Oh,
was
were you a
not.
fly on the wall, my man?
I'm just
I'm
telling
I'm
you.
pulling how I see it because at the end of the day, come on, 30 years ago.
Come on.
So at what point did you feel like you needed justice?
Okay, let me just put a woman's spin on this. I'm not saying that everybody that brought charges against him were telling the truth.
And we know that because
Yeah.
they had the charges dropped.
Right, but I do think that there was some
Yeah.
incidents. Exactly, and he admitted it himself. My point is, as far as the women waiting so long, think of somebody like Mr. Cosby. Think of, you got this young girl coming up, nobody knows who she is, and trying to put charges against a man of his stature. She would have been prosecuted in the media, you know. And think of the trauma, because I think a lot of times people don't understand that when you're sexually assaulted, you might not tell anybody right away because it's such a traumatic experience.
And there's shame.
And they're shamed because they blame themselves, you know. And you go through, and it affects your relationships long term until you get some help.
Right.
And I think a lot of times nobody wants to be the first one to come forward. So I think, you know, when I heard that Janice Dickinson said that he did the same thing to her, I felt like, bitch, go sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody probably done had their way with your ass.
So Bill Cosby was shooting Quaaludes from 3-point land in they drinks, right?
Right.
But
Well,
see, here's the thing. My thing is this: if something's right, it's right. Something's wrong, is wrong.
Right, yeah.
Neither one of us were there. None
True.
of us in this room was there when these so-called allegations took
Mhm.
place, right? But my thing is, when it's about money, it becomes disingenuous. Because these aren't people who's just saying, I want this person to stand trial for what they did. It becomes a meal ticket.
right.
And that's when the problem comes, where you don't even know if this is moral or immoral, if this is right or wrong, because it's attached to a money,
Finances.
a money situation. It's like a come up. You know?
Right.
If someone raped my daughter or my mother, I would want them to get the justice that they need. The last thing that I or my female family members would be seeking is some kind of money.
True.
Because the first thing they try and do is get the people to know that this happened to me.
Right.
I didn't make this up. I didn't dream this up. This person violated the sanctity of my sovereignty, which is my body, my personal self. You know, but now when it comes to money, it's like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, we might as well bring up the lady who lied on Emmett Till.
Right. And we
might as
talked
well
about
get
that. Yeah.
all these old charges, and let's go back to slavery. Let's start bringing up charges since there's no statute of limitations.
Right. And the thing about that, when us as black women speak up about sexual assault, we don't get the same response that, you know, our Caucasian counterpart. You know, I feel like we are victimized even more. The thing that was kind of upsetting about this, I saw, I think last week, they removed his star.
Right. And
But my thing is, you didn't remove Woody Allen, you didn't remove Weinstein, you didn't remove Charlie Sheen.
And this is if you're wise and astute, you can step back and see the whole picture.
Yeah.
If it was really about him doing something wrong to that degree, you won't have him being removed from the Comedy Hall of Fame.
Right.
You won't have his shows removed, which involve other people and their legacy. So now they can't get their residuals because you got a hard on for this guy.
Right.
So forget Felicia Rashad and Malcolm Jamal Warner and Lisa
Bledsoe.
Bonet.
Right, exactly.
Forget them, right?
Right.
And then you start thinking when they start stripping his honorary degrees and this, that, and the third, then you begin to see that it was more than just what they showed you face value of him being brought up on allegations of rape and having sex without the consent of someone. Now, according to what I seen, because I don't pay too much attention to the news, but what I did see and observe was that he was saying that he would get these things for them per request.
Okay.
Now, let's play devil advocate for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I know plenty of people who cater to their significant other.
Right.
You drink,
Mm-hmm.
you smoke,
No.
because the first thing you try and do is get them to the level of comfortability,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they usually let you know what they're into.
What they're, yeah.
Either I drink or I don't drink, I
Mhm.
smoke or I don't smoke, or I'm hungry or I'm not hungry. It's a little chilly. Can you warm it up? It's a little hot. Can you cool
Right,
it? Like
right.
you want to get affordability
Right.
and comfortability. So now you mean to tell me Bill Cosby, a person who basically lived on the lot because he's
Mhm.
making shows, he's doing all kinds of stuff, and we can't negate the fact that these women were provided to him as well. That's the part a
Right.
lot of people don't highlight. A lot of these women were provided to Bill Cosby because of
Absolutely.
who he was
Right.
and because of his scheduling and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we know most infidelity happens in the workplace.
Oh yeah.
So these high paid hoes want some quaaludes, because I know to this day it's some people who can't function without a perk,
Right. Yeah.
without
That
a Percocet.
is- yeah,
They
that
need
is
they need a
fact.
Xan,
Mhm.
they need a little drink, they need
Right.
something before they deal with normality.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's
So let's
true.
not act like we're holier than now.
Of
Oh
course.
my God, he's giving quaaludes to people.
Right.
How did he get them?
Yeah, and that's
Who
the
made
thing.
them?
I mean, and
Who
at
made the
that,
Quaaludes?
it was like at that time part of the culture. I mean, he's hanging at the Playboy Mansion. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's
It's
getting
kind of-
high.
Exactly. So
Cocaine was prevalent.
sex, all of that. It was just like the norm.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you know how it goes. It's a double standard. like
It's a
you
double
highlight.
standard. Always.
You're not gonna
Always.
strip them, and that's what we gotta realize too. You know, like I love Solange's album, but the concept of seat at the table is offensive to me only because I don't feel like we should want a seat at their table. We have to realize that this
Mhm.
country was not for us,
Right.
built by us, but never
But
for
never.
us.
Right.
So the rules don't apply to us.
Mm-hmm.
The police force initially was started to capture runaway slaves.
Right.
Okay, the
Mhm.
Constitution to this day still refers to us as 3/5 of a man.
Right.
We're cattle, we're livestock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's just not just our people, but that's anyone, any human being that has a birth certificate and a social security number. You're livestock.
Right.
You're traded on the Wall Street Stock Exchange. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But with us, the indigenous people, especially, there's always a double standard. So instead of us wanting to sit at the table, how about we go build our own house, build our own table, and have our own functions?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to get in their country clubs and
Right.
this, that, and the third, because what happens is if someone gives you something, they also have the power to strip you of that.
Absolutely.
So all the stars on Hollywood that they give you, they can take it from you. You got to be very careful in this society.
Mhm.
When you let someone build you up, be prepared for them to be able to destroy you.
Exactly.
But if you know who you are, they can't build you up or take you away,
Mhm.
because you are who you are,
Right.
regardless of any accolade. And that's what they do the most. They induce that fear. If you don't play ball, we're going to take this from you.
All the time.
You got to be able to tell them, suck a dick up to your hiccup, kiss my ass, you ain't make me, and you can't break me.
Yeah, and we have this discussion sometimes. I have a thing, call me a control freak or whatever the case may be. I cannot let somebody dictate where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, certain things happen, and I'm kind of like, yeah, well, that's just a minor setback.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody can stop me. Like, I'm on my path, and nobody can block me. You know, I might have setbacks, but I'm still going to get there with or without you.
Right.
You know, and I think that we have to develop that mindset and stop looking for a handout.
Absolutely.
You know, because it handicaps you
Yes,
when
it
it's
does.
not there.
Yes, it does.
And then you're like looking around like, so what now?
You become a puppet.
Exactly.
You're an
And so
invisible
we
string.
can allow ourselves to be put in that type of situation. And even if you get it handed to you, as you mentioned, it can be taken away. And it has no value to you because you didn't necessarily work for it. It was given to you.
Right. And
Yeah.
we can't take away his comedic ability.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, they can, it was a saying, they can lock your body, but they can't trap your mind. One thing a person can't take from you is what you already know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so at the end of the day, his verdict is, in my opinion, a witch hunt. There was more to it. There was more
Oh,
layers
yeah.
to it. It wasn't just
Mhm.
about those women bring charges and the whole Me Too movement. there was a legacy that they wanted to tarnish, they wanted to destroy, because let's face it, he, as far as American pop culture, was the only real example we had of a family.
Right.
Think about it. The show was based in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
right? You had a male father who's a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
a black woman who's a lawyer, right?
Right.
And you have children being raised, and then you had other characters introduced, like their boyfriends and husbands or
Mhm.
girlfriends. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a dynamic there that we had that we didn't have in this
Right.
country.
That's, yeah, I agree.
Okay, because once they abolished slavery, supposedly,
Mm-hmm.
we had nowhere to go. What we ended up doing was becoming pimps, prostitutes, number runners, gamblers, bootleggers, because we only knew what we were taught.
Right.
And who was our teacher?
The white man.
Right.
Mhm.
And the white woman.
Right.
Okay? So you set someone free after destroying them for over 400 years.
Right.
And all of a sudden you say, oh, do you think? Do what?
Right. Because
All I've known is what you told me.
exactly. So now what?
Mhm.
You know, and we were talking about Black Wall Street, because I think I mentioned we had a Black Wall Street
Yes, we
event here,
Okay.
and it was great. But what I found was that a lot of the entrepreneurs didn't really know anything about it, and
Awesome.
yeah. So I was telling them about Tulsa, and I told them about Rosewood, and I said, you realize those communities were destroyed on the word of a white woman.
Domestic terrorism.
Exactly.
The
I said
VW
they
was
burnt
bombed.
down our communities, you know, because of the word of a white woman. In both cases were accusations of rape. You know, they get us every time, and I think some of it, I have to say, we have to bear responsibility because we have a fascination with their nectar.
Yeah.
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 So.
Because it's a psychological war
Yeah.
that's been waged on us. At the end of the day, you got to just realize that. To cause us to kill the idea of beauty that we know to be beauty,
Yeah.
and your version of beauty to live,
Mm-hmm.
is warfare on
Right.
the mind.
Yeah.
When you can tell us that our coarse hair is something to be ashamed of, when in
Right.
fact it coils and locks in sunlight, moonlight, and stardust that
Right.
ascends down on the planet
Mhm.
throughout the cosmos, giving us information that will trigger our DNA to do things that a known person does not have the ability to do.
Right.
You would make us feel like our full lips is something to be ashamed of, when actually when we're able to eat produce, it's extracting the juices
Mhm.
from the fruit and the vegetables, and also blocking sand from going into our mouths. And you cause us to be ashamed of our large nostrils, which, because we come from an equatorial climate for the most part, is cooling off our brain. See, the
Mhm.
bigger the nostril is, the more you're able to cool off your brain with a natural cooling system called your nostrils. And those who have smaller nasal passages are in cold climates because you don't need to freeze your brain.
Right. Right.
So you cause us to hate that which our own DNA created for us
Mhm.
to be able to sustain, maintain, and remain,
Right.
and call them beautiful. That's
But-
interesting.
Yeah, but
That's psychological war.
right, and at the same time, all the things that they drill in us about our appearance, they're now paying thousands of dollars to have done.
And still dish you in public.
Exactly. Exactly.
Will kill to look like you, but dish
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
So what they tell
Absolutely.
you? They'll say, I'd rather all your attributes and you be dead.
Yeah. But because that's exactly what they're saying. I can look like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you'll never be the original.
Right.
You're always going to be a copy.
Mm-hmm.
Copy.
Bootleg.
Yeah,
You are a bootleg of me.
that's right. And we got to be the original people and embrace that, man. We got to embrace it and see things for what it is.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, I go on his page sometimes to see what he posts
Mhm.
because I know it's something interesting, and he doesn't bite his tongue, and I love
Nope.
that. Yeah, I love that. It's like, I don't care, you know, this is fact, and I'm going to post it.
And you know what's interesting, though, Queen? The reason why I've become that way, because I wasn't always that way, is
Mhm.
because I used to be silenced when I was young.
Okay.
And like, we go back to taboo. Taboo deals with things that you want suppressed
Yeah.
and oppressed. So when I was younger, I didn't have a voice, but I was crying out for injustice to myself,
Okay.
and nobody gave me the time of day. But as I grew up, I started realizing that the squeaky wheel got the oil.
Yeah.
And this life is 100% mine. You're not going to Jedi mind trick me to shut the F up about something that's valid and needs to be spoken about.
Right.
If an 8-year-old has another man stick a finger in their butthole, they should be able to talk about that and not be silenced. And this society discourages people to speak, which is why the Kanye thing is a big thing, because they not used to a person speaking their mind, let alone a black man speaking his mind. However far left or far right it may seem, he's entitled to speak his truth. You're entitled to speak your truth. He's entitled to speak his truth. And at no point should you feel the need to mute yourself unless you deem it more of a disservice than a service.
Right. Right.
Because being wise is knowing what to say and also when to say it. You understand what I'm saying?
Now, and I know that, especially our community, you know, they done called the boy every crazy word under the sun for giving his opinion. And maybe, you know, maybe he may not have been clear on what he meant to say, but I have to be honest, when he said slavery was a choice, I think I could, in one sense, I can see, because what my interpretation was that you always have a choice. You can choose life or you can choose death. You know, what were they going to go back to? I think some of them weren't willing to pay with their life. So I think in that regard, maybe that's what he might have been trying to communicate.
The language is hurtful because you got a lot of sensitive people. Like,
of course,
there's a lot of GMO people out here. There's a lot of genetically modified people out here where they can't even take a critique. They can't handle when the choice of words you use to drive home a point is used. They'll negate the entire message because of one sentence.
It's what they heard.
They're like, oh, fuck that. You done lost me right there. Bro.
Exactly.
You done lost me right there, sister. No, I don't need to lose you. I need you to be objective, open your mind, see the whole thing. But see, that's because our people are a lot of religious people. And the word scripture means part.
Right.
So we conditioned in this country as of 2018 to only deal with parts anyway. Because people run with the scriptures, not knowing that the word script means part. So we conditioned to only take parts anyway, instead of dealing with the whole. Before I make my assessment on something, I want to get the whole totality of things. And recently I had a little argument, I would say, with one of my comrades, because he was like, oh, you be on some peace guard shit. And I was like, nah, it's not peace guard shit. I just want to see the whole thing before I react. Because once I react, it's go time. I'm not going to play. But I'm not going to do a premature move. I want to see the whole thing. And the choice of words that Kanye used offends people because they're extra sensitive in this day and time, number one. And number two, they're conditioned subconsciously to turn off once you don't say things that they particularly like or pleased with. So they'll assassinate the message and the messenger at the same time. Throw them all in the trash. The spot.
They didn't even want to entertain it.
Or they just don't, or they get mad because some of the words that you say, to us, we understand. To them, they don't understand. So they'll get upset of a word they don't understand.
Right, and these Oreos going to help the agenda of the
I mean,
Caucasians anyway. That's worse. When you fight the enemy, and then you got somebody who used to be in your corner when you was shadowboxing, and now they're on the other side.
Right. And I feel like we are most of the time our own worst enemies. We don't stand behind each other, you know. Okay, even going back to the Bill Cosby thing, whatever happened, like you said, we weren't there, but he's still part of our community. Do we abandon him, or do we rally around him?
No, we're not going to abandon him.
Chastise him in private.
Exactly.
But don't disrespect him in public, because we all gonna make some mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? And even those who have publicly chastised him, it's a mistake, and they could be forgiven too. Like we're not even gonna play that game. We're not gonna pick and choose what we forgive. Forgive is forgive.
Exactly.
That's just it.
You can't limit. Well, I forgive you for this, but I'm still holding this over your head.
Right.
You know,
because Kanye made some valid points.
Yeah, he did.
He made some valid points. And if you don't agree with him saying slavery is a choice, you got to look at the whole thing with choice means, because there were some people who jumped off the ships.
Yeah.
In fact, to this day, the sharks that are along the eastern coast,
Mm-hmm.
they followed the trail of blood
Okay.
and bodies, because they were not really on this side of the waters.
Okay.
Okay, they were following the food trail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all the sharks attacking humans in Florida and all that,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't have been over here anyway had their natural ecosystem not been disrupted as it was.
Okay.
So that transcontinental slave trade people don't know about. There were some people who refused to be enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "I'll take my chances with death," like the Killmonger character
Right.
in the Black Panther
And
movie.
Wakanda.
Right.
Yeah.
Now there were some other people who ran away. So when you look at the word choice, to a degree, he has made a valid
He made a
point.
valid point.
You
Yeah.
can choose to be in an abusive relationship
Mhm.
or walk out the door.
Right.
Because right now, it's some of y'all who are in relationships that you need to walk out of, but you choose to still be there because
Because
the
of
bills,
comfort.
the mortgage,
And
the
comfort,
children.
you know.
Oh, I don't want
The
my
sex
parents.
is good.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want my parents to think that I'm a failure, or I don't want the ladies at the church to look at me funny because
Right.
now I'm single. No,
Who
be real with
cares?
yourself. It
Because
didn't work.
nobody is living your life but
Yeah.
you.
It
You
didn't
know?
work. So move
yeah,
on.
exactly.
I know
But-
me personally, I couldn't be a slave.
Yeah.
They had to kill me.
And that's and which goes back to
Man,
his
we would have
point, you
rallied
know.
up the gang.
It comes
Yeah.
back to choice. You either gonna pay with your life or you're gonna pay with your life one way or another, whether it be by death or the abuse, the mental and physical abuse.
And I'm glad you made that point, because a lot of us need to stop being afraid to die
Yeah.
and embrace this reality. I don't know how people feel about it, but this is the truth of the matter. You can not want to talk about death at the dinner table if you want to, but guess what? It's everybody's situation they got to deal with.
It's
You
true.
came in this world and you're going to go out this world.
Right.
One way or the other.
Absolutely.
So you being afraid of how you're gonna go out is definitely a handicap in your life, because
Oh,
that
yeah.
fear transcends to all. Because you're afraid to die in every area of life. You're afraid to die financially. You're afraid to die socially.
Right.
You're afraid to die career-wise. You're afraid of so many deaths that you scared to death and of death.
And that is so true. And even now, we don't want to talk about preparing for your final rest.
Right.
You know, I remember my parents used to say, especially my dad, you killing me already? Or because he didn't want to talk about it, you know. But it's about making sure all of that is taken care of, and we don't plan for that. We don't teach our children how to invest. You know, we don't educate them on money. They see us struggle, but we don't show them a better way. And I think because some of it is we haven't been taught, and not only that, but we're not willing to learn.
Right.
I think that if I had known some of the things that I know now, yeah, I always say I probably would be a lot better off, but I think sometimes I was meant to go through those lessons in order to learn, because I think back in the day I didn't have a value for money.
Very correct.
Yeah.
And the reason why you now know what you know is so that you can stand in the gap and be that individual you
Exactly.
didn't have. Because you say, if I knew now what I knew, well, if I knew then what I know now, I
Yeah.
would ...
Exactly.
But here's the thing. How about you didn't even have nobody to pass that game on to you?
Right. And that's it.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You can't be taught what they don't know.
I think about my dad being a truck driver at a time where there wasn't a lot of blacks in the trucking industry making big money, and used to walk around with a wad of cash in his pocket, say go to the store, get me something from the store, and give me like a $50 bill for something that might have cost like $1 and something, but he had no value, you know, on money. And we used to always say he could have been had a house that was paid for, but he was out whining and dining. He wasn't worried about that.
He lived his life.
He lived his life, yeah. I mean, later years, yeah, he got a house and the house became paid for, but it's all about lessons,
That's
you
it.
know. And we have to make sure we are arming our kids with as much knowledge as we can.
That's
like I
right.
said, I didn't have the sex talk, but I said when I had a child, He can ask me anything he want to ask. I'm going to tell him everything that I know, and I do the same thing with my granddaughter.
That's right. And that's the thing that we got to realize. Everything is up for discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Oh, yeah.
Every single thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be holding back information because for all the people that's religious, your very Bible says, my people perish from a lack of knowledge. It didn't say lack of money. It didn't say lack of love. No, it's knowledge.
It's knowledge.
So equip yourself with as much information as you can. Therefore, you allow yourself to be able to make the best of decisions.
Exactly.
Given what you have available to you information-wise. But if you don't know nothing, you're very limited.
You're not going to make the correct decision because you don't have all the information available. I was telling my son probably a few months ago, I said, there are a lot of people out here that suffer from mental illness.
Absolutely.
And they don't know it. And because of maybe embarrassment, they're not willing to go get checked out. Fear, yeah. But at a time when I was coming up, I had like major anger issues. And my mom took me to see a psychiatrist. Now, to me, I think that was the best thing. She didn't give a damn about what nobody in the community had to say because it was about her child getting help. Yeah. So it was helpful to me. Now, at the end of that, I think I was scheduled for like 10 sessions. Mm-hmm. Well, by session number 6, my shrink was laying on the couch telling me her problems. I ain't bullshitting.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You're a special one. You're a special one. Check that out.
And my brother said...
Did she pay you?
That's what I was telling my mom. I said...
Shoulda.
Right.
Yeah. I would have...
These cameras ain't free.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. She got all kind of letters.
I knew her whole life story and I was only 16.
Try that.
Yeah. So my brother said, well, that told us right there that you really had a problem. It was just a joke, But I think then I just started thinking to myself, wow, I can actually make people tell me their story. Mm-hmm. We might be on to something here.
Yeah, a good pair of ears can wear out 1,000 tongues.
Oh my God, yes. And so that's what happens now. I get to talk to people from all over, and they're comfortable sharing their story, and I love it because I learn. They learn from me. I learn from them. That's right. Why I do this.
That's right. This forum is very important.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Just in us sitting here now, some people have learned some things about themselves, if not in general.
Yeah.
Just in this time period right now.
And even when you think about the church and how we're represented in the church and how you go to church, somebody go for the first time, and I feel like church people are most critical.
Right.
I see people in church sometimes and they still, come out with that woe is me. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you going for if every little issue you have, you're still talking about woe is me? Where's your faith? I don't go as much, and I have more faith probably than a whole lot of people that go every Sunday, because I'm not like the kind of person that wants to play victim. Mm-hmm. If something isn't working, okay, then I got to figure out another way on how to get it done. But I'm not gonna cry out like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What am I gonna do?
Yeah, that's victim.
It doesn't make sense. I just cannot do that. That's not me. And I have this discussion a lot with my sister. I'm like, listen, get that, change your mindset. Because if you don't, it's going to drown you. Every time you hit a bump in the road, you're going to feel like, what am I going to do? Work it out.
A paper cut. I'm dying.
Work it out. Yeah, work it out.
Oh my God, blood!
Yeah.
I've never seen this before!
What am I going to do now?
What the fuck is this red shit?
Right. I mean, we have to recognize our own power. And I think a lot of times we don't.
Right.
Anything that we want to accomplish, we can do it because we have the power. And I try to post that. It doesn't, because they want you to keep coming back.
Get a fix.
Filling that plate, You go to churches now, they got the bank machines in there, or they want to tell you.
Shop.
Yeah, they want to tell you, oh, you can give more than that. Y'all giving chump change. Now, when did that become about God?
And God seemed to be broke.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'd rather you keep it real with me. You might get more if you keep it real and tell me you need the money.
Exactly.
Don't tell me God need the AC.
Right,
on.
I need this money to go take out this young girl or whatever
Yeah,
the case may be.
I might figure out what I got for you.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Just
you
be
up here
straight up,
lying,
yeah.
Talking about some supreme deity need my little punk little cash. Something wrong. I don't
Something
need
is
him
definitely wrong.
because he need me.
I mean, when the pastor is driving a Bentley
And you got a skateboard.
yeah, okay.
pulling up on a Sunday like, man.
And hoping that your car stop when you
Dang,
leave.
man.
Sweat
You
stains
know?
under your shirt.
I was just looking at them rims the other day. He already got them.
Yeah.
Damn, Pastor.
You talking about God good.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, they'll say that all the time.
God like
is
to ride
good.
pretty.
That's
Mhm.
right. That's right.
You know, you got one pastor that'll tell his congregation, you was out at the club last night, don't shortchange God.
Oh yeah. And see, that's the thing I got with that.
Yeah.
You playing games, but you said a powerful point. We have the power, but if you don't know you have the power, you'll keep giving that power to somebody else.
True.
And
Yeah.
one of the quickest forms of power we give away is financial power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the second most prolific power that we give away is the freedom of choice.
True.
You know, we just walk around here reactive. We're not proactive. Like we said, everything is woe is me. Oh my God, what's gonna go on? Oh, Trump's
Yeah.
president. Oh, the gas went up. Like all that's cool.
It doesn't really
Now,
matter because
you
you're gonna
still
do
live.
exactly. We're gonna do what we've always done. Live.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Keep on
Okay.
living.
Exactly.
Whatever's going on, you should be able to adjust
Exactly.
to it.
You know, I mean, I think that we just want someone to blame.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's because we have been psychologically beat down and destroyed. There's a major war out here. And like I said, it's mental illness people don't know about, and the psychological war we're faced up against. And we're talking about our people more so than any other demographic.
Oh yeah.
Our people are fucked up in the head
Mm-hmm.
because every part of life is targeted at their psychological
Mm-hmm.
sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who you are.
Yeah.
How you react to things is where you are in your mind. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So people who play victim have been victimized.
Mm-hmm.
You get where I'm coming from?
But they don't have to stay there.
Right, but because what they're in there because no one has encouraged them because they can't encourage themselves
To
Mhm.
move.
to move on.
Yeah.
Because that's what you
Becomes
got to focus on.
debilitating.
If you don't realize that you are the God that you've been looking for, then you won't have that power to initiate change.
Right.
So secondly, if you don't know who you are and you're around people who don't know who they are, then you definitely won't be encouraged to be reminded of
That's
who you
true.
are and the power you
Yeah.
have to make a change and to transform your situation into what you really envision it to be from your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's what we really had to know. That's why I said the first knowledge is self-knowledge and the first love is self-love.
Mm-hmm.
We had to really embrace ourselves. We had to really be able to talk to ourselves and say it's okay to give yourself expert advice, i.e. talking to yourself.
Right.
You know, because who else you had when you came in this world? There's three of us in this room, right? But
Mhm.
all of us came to this world separately.
Right.
And all of us is going to go back separately. And even in the Bible it says, for a good man, a person may think about laying down their life.
Mm-hmm.
But no greater sacrifice has been made than this one who called Jesus, who died for the world, right? Think about that. For somebody good, you might think about dying.
Yeah.
So put that in perspective. We all born alone and dying alone.
Right.
You're going to have some people that are your companions,
Mhm.
giving you company,
Right.
okay? But it's not to the point where you should forget that you came into this world to experience life on your own terms.
Mm-hmm.
And if you allow someone's opinion or philosophy, ideology, or theology to supersede your own, you're in bad shape.
Yeah, because you've stunted your growth based on somebody else's idea.
Right. You should have your own,
Right.
you know?
But I think sometimes for some we've gotten so comfortable allowing other people to dictate our destiny.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and I think when it comes down to that, you can't really be happy because you're not living the life that you want. You're living the life that was chosen for you. Yeah. So, and that's why we have so many unhappy people out here
Unhappy.
because they would say,
The audacity to boldly live life on your own terms, they will try to.
they call you crazy.
Kill you.
I get called crazy
And,
all the time. So,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you have the audacity to live your truth,
yeah.
because they've relinquished their
Mm-hmm.
to that,
Mm-hmm.
they look at you like, how dare you? How dare
Yeah.
you? You trying to chase?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Oh,
hear
you a
that
ugly
so
nigga.
much. Yeah.
Oh, you read books.
exactly. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be like the rest of us, huh?
See.
You want to upset the natural flow of things.
Yeah, because everybody's path is different. Categorize me as normal. Normal for me might be, abnormal for you. Or,
Right.
Yeah. But I applaud people that are able to be comfortable enough in their skin to do what makes them happy.
To be individuals and
To
come
be
together
to
as
have your
collective.
own mind. Exactly. Because what Nate does may not work for Jackie.
Right.
So, and that's okay.
Sometimes.
Because I'm going to be supportive anyway.
But
you
we
know?
all need air and water.
Yeah, exactly.
We all need air
I
and
mean,
water.
that's the
That's
thing.
a common
Yeah,
ground.
that's exactly. This is like my ride or die here.
And look, let's keep real. He has a penis, you have a vagina.
Yeah.
So
well,
that alone should tell you that there's going to be some differences
yeah,
in your approach to certain things.
that's true.
Somebody,
But-
he's not going to sit down and pee
Right.
unless he's a sucker.
Yeah.
Unless I'm
Or he
tired.
got hernia. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Exactly.
yeah.
I'm tired. I'm so tired, man. I said, I'm tired, man.
Yeah, just one and
I
two
don't
at
feel
the
like
same time.
standing. Fuck standing.
That's too much work.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck standing.
There's some
Yeah.
differences
I
too.
figure if I sit down, I'm ready to do a number two, too.
Yeah. So
Why
get the
stand up?
screen done. Get the screen
Yeah.
done.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. No matter how, right?
But I'm telling you, I mean, this is my ride or die. And I got a penis, she got a vagina.
Right.
But sometimes the way she talk, you think she got the penis,
Well,
and
that
I got
might
the
be true.
vagina.
That might be
because she
true.
talk to me half time like I'm a pussy.
That might be a little true. But it's all good, It's
It's
kind of
all
like it's all
Oh,
good.
shit.
I'm just raw with my delivery.
Right. And that,
You know,
that could throw people off a lot.
It does throw people off a
A lot of
lot.
people like the dress up things, and make it all like
That requires
masquerade.
too much energy
Yeah.
to do that, so I'm not able to do
And
that.
you know what's the crazy part is some people are skilled at wasted energy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I let them be who they are. That's one thing.
Yeah.
I had to mature to that level. Like I used to be the person that tried to, change people's direction or perspective. Now I realize I have more peace when I live and let live.
Yeah. You said something. I replied to one of your posts, and you responded back, I'd rather spend the night on the roof than you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, to be in the house with a warm woman. Yeah, because that's the real.
Oh my God, I always think about that, and it just makes me smile because it's so funny.
Yeah.
But I knew that you meant it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did because I've been in relationships where a woman's mouth was just going off like a pistol
Mm-hmm.
because that's her power.
That's her power.
You know, my power is my physicality.
Yeah.
You know, her power is her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a woman know how to hit you below that belt like
Oh
nobody
yeah,
else can.
it's
I mean,
yes,
when it's all
Lord.
good, you big daddy. Soon as y'all not in good scale, you little dick nigga.
Yeah. Yeah, why
We
you broke the
always
past?
But we
But
do
10
always
years, but
take
10
it
years you was
there,
King
yeah.
Dingley. For 10 years you was King Dingley, you was King
Yeah.
Kong, ain't nobody got the strong like you. As soon as you don't get them grocery lists right,
Oh, man.
listen, I'm sick of you little dick niggas always coming in with this list messed up.
And that's kind of like
you
always
gotta
a
talk
woman's
sweet to
go-to,
me.
you know?
Shit. You gotta talk to sweet to me to get a good time, damn it.
Right.
And later on that night, what is it?
Yeah.
Oh God, you're just such a big dick motherfucker.
Right.
God damn, you
Right.
had all of that
Sure,
Because
fucking-
we're in the moment. That's
If you
why.
live long
Yeah.
enough, you learn not to take certain things so
That's
serious.
true. That's true. Yeah. In the
And I
heat
had
of the
to learn that
moment,
too.
you know,
I let
you
a
say
woman
some
just go.
things. Yeah.
When they done, I say, you done? All right, I'm getting ready to go to the store. You want something from the store?
Yeah.
Because I realize that's her power.
Yeah.
And she needs to be able to get that off. I need to allow her to have that floor. Say what you got to say, get it all out.
Mm-hmm. Where's Jim Crow? Because he needed to hear that.
Because when you're done, I'm still going to ask you.
You hear that, Jim Crow?
Store.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's over with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really do a lot of arguing. I just want to say what I gotta say, and let's keep it moving.
Live and let live.
Yeah,
You know
let's
what I'm
just
saying?
keep it moving.
And let's not let this argument spill over to the mall.
Exactly.
'Cause I asked you if you was done yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I got
Yeah.
one more thing to say.
Listen,
Ain't no,
okay.
ain't no need to go on
I
sleep.
got
anyway.
one more thing to
Right.
say.
We always sleep it back to back like championship.
See?
You won't wake up and get this part 2 going on.
See?
Huh.
Yeah.
That means it wasn't over.
Right.
It wasn't over. She didn't think of everything.
Right.
It happens like that sometimes.
That means in your mind, you contemplated on what was your next fucking move.
And another thing.
Yeah.
And while I'm laying there like this, you like this.
Look at him. I could do all kinds of stuff.
I
there.
cannot wait
Yeah.
until 6 o'clock when he opens his eyes.
'Cause it's
Fuck
awesome.
that. Fuck that. Cause I'm gonna wake up real dumbfounded. What?
Yeah, act like you still asleep.
Didn't we just talk about this shit yet?
Yeah.
Didn't we dead this yesterday?
That's that Mars Venus thing.
But I ain't get it all out.
Right, yeah. You're
Okay,
right.
I tell you what. This is day 2. Sometimes you get what you call the extended stay pass.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So
how
you're
guys see
you're
it.
going to get the extended stay pass.
Right. I'm gonna give you another.
So
year.
right now I'm gonna give you a free day because maybe you know the room wasn't vacuumed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe you saw the bathroom wasn't clean or something.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you a free night stay.
Right.
Say whatever the fuck you want, cause after a certain time,
It's over.
oh, you gonna pay.
Yeah.
You gonna pay. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know how you go to a hotel, you know, you stand there with them, how was your night? And somebody ain't make up the bed.
Right,
I
right.
found a condom on the floor.
Mhm.
Who was in this room the night before when we got there? You know,
Right.
oh, sir, no problem. We're going to give you another night's stay.
Right.
We're going to put you in a better room.
Courtesy.
A courtesy.
Right, yeah.
But you can't go in that room. Oh, sir, how did you like this room? I found another condom on the floor.
It
Get
never
the fuck
ends.
out of
It
here,
never
sir. You know what,
ends.
sir? You're going to pay for this one.
Yeah.
You're gonna...
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
It's
they-
like
that's how you gotta
enough,
treat this shit.
yeah.
You gotta put a line in the sand. about
Exactly. That's
far
how you
go.
gotta treat this shit with these females.
Really.
I'm gonna say it. That's how you
gonna
gotta treat
be in
it.
trouble when you
Because
go.
no, I ain't worried about no trouble. I ain't worried about no motherfucking trouble.
But we all need
I
help.
know you
No,
probably
We all
yeah.
need help. We all
That's
need
true.
help.
Yeah, that's true.
Male
Yeah.
and female, male
Yeah.
and female, but you know how we can go. You know, it's just about communication.
It's just about communication. I think sometimes we get so caught up in our feelings, we want our point,
yeah,
point
and
across.
that's
Yeah.
another valid point that sometimes it should be more about peace than who's right.
Yeah, but I think ego. You
There
know,
we go.
yeah.
That's gonna get in the way. all
Yeah,
the time.
exactly. Because damn it, I'm right. But if I put my ego aside and kind of, I might be right,
Mhm.
but I don't have to say it.
Right.
Let's just agree to disagree
For peace.
for peace. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Let me tell you, my godfather said it all the time. You never argue a lie.
Yeah. That's
I'm
true.
slowly realizing that because I don't like to be accused of something I ain't do. You understand what I'm saying?
And
So it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to keep my mouth shut
Right.
because in my nature, in a man's nature or in a female's nature, we are programmed to defend ourselves
Hmm.
against wrongdoers. You know what I'm saying? So if you're accusing me of something that I know I didn't do, I'm slowly getting into that fact where I don't want to say anything because why argue with you on something I know that's not true?
Yeah, it's gonna
But
end up being
Even
explosive.
when you try to be that way, the more and more deeper that they discuss of what they thought you did that you know you didn't do,
Because
it's
you-
kind of hard to keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying?
Because they used
Because
to
now
engage
you right
Yeah.
now you gotta find now you on a defense where I have to prove you wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Now instead of just what she just said, let it die.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying, and just go to sleep. Now you get to the point where you feel like, you know what, you should have never came at me like that anyway. I thought you knew me.
And it
That's
keeps
You know what I'm saying?
And it keeps going.
It's
You
the-
know, and then
yeah,
that's that
ego.
exactly. That's
Ego
what
done
you know.
got in
Like
there.
I listen, me and my girl just got into it.
Mhm.
Just got into it. My god brother posted a post. Soon as she pulled up the you know, on her Facebook, it came up with like I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Which if I write a post and I tag your name in it to everybody else, your name is gonna pop up to look like it's the, you know what I'm saying? So she didn't understand that, and she went ham.
Right.
But then, if you really look at the post, my godbrother put his wife's name in there. He put his son's name in there. He put his daughter's name in there. And at that point, she had to really stop and look and realize, I don't have a son named Little D.
Right.
I don't have a daughter named Shay. I don't have a wife. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on now. And we had this discussion last night.
Don't argue a lot.
You feel what I'm saying? We had this, but see, when it happened, she caught me out of my sleep. So when she caught me out, you never accuse somebody and they just waking up, because now they done went from 0 to 100.
Right. It ain't even about what you waking me up for. It's you woke me up.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
And
now,
BS.
exactly. So now we had this discussion, and I said to her, I said, listen, because sometimes when you can, whether it's a male or female, when you have the floor and you can hit that mate with questions that they are cornered to answer, you understand what I'm saying? Now it and you label it where it's either yes or no. You understand what I'm saying? Now they can't do the Robin Hood's Bond shit.
Right,
You feel what I'm saying?
They
They
gotta
can't
do
go
it.
all the way around to bring only to bring, you know, so I said, do you understand that I love you? Yes or no? Yes. Do you understand how deeply in love that I am with you? Yes or no? Yes. Do you really believe that I would write a post and not put your name in it? You can't go around Robin Hood's Bond now.
You just put the mirror
It's
in front
evil.
of you.
Exactly. So now it's no. I was wrong.
And that's cool.
So guess what? Now, a true person, whether you're male or female, you have to understand that when a person apologizes, you understand what I'm saying? If I've done something to Jackie and I know that what you're saying is wrong, and she apologized, my job is not to feel like I got the upper hand to now put my foot in her neck.
Yeah, no.
You understand what I'm saying? You already apologized. Let it go.
Yeah,
I
so-
think sometimes though we get caught up in previous relationships, and so we kind of, you know, like using that same scenario, it's a reminder of something that happened to us in a previous relationship, and we bring it forward, and the argument could have nothing to do with what that post was about, but something that they experienced in the previous relationship. We go into these relationships a lot of times with all this baggage, instead of taking time out to kind of like purge yourself.
Evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
And it's funny you said it, because that's the
Exactly.
that's the first thing she said. It's not that she don't love me. It's not that she's not in love with me, but for that second, insecurity came in.
It happens.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand it. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But at the same token, you have, and we talk about this all the time, that you have to know your mate.
Yeah.
You have to know
absolutely.
what they're going to do,
Yeah.
what they're not going to do, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what their line.
Yeah.
And that's gonna come with time.
It comes with
Exactly.
time. Exactly.
Exactly.
The mature thing is to realize that you're gonna live and learn, and you're gonna make some mistakes. But the whole thing, mathematically, for every problem is a solution.
That's right.
So that's all it's about. Problems have solutions. I don't like when people just keep bringing up problems.
Yeah.
Without us getting to the solution.
Well,
Oh, it's a hole in the roof. It's a hole in the roof. It's a hole in the roof. All right, my next thing, me as a person, I'm like, all right, so are we gonna fix this roof, or we gonna keep the hole?
exactly. Yeah.
Because you sound like a broken record right now.
Because that's all they have. They don't have a solution, so they want to keep talking about it. And
Right.
I noticed that a lot with people. Well, you know, so and so did this. Okay, now what?
How are we gonna solve this problem?
Exactly.
Because mathematically, when we was in math class, they always told us that the problem required a solution.
Exactly.
That's
yes.
always the case in life. If there's a problem, what's the solution?
Right.
If we can't get along as blacks and whites, Elijah Muhammad and KKK Grand Wizards deemed separation was a solution.
Right.
That's life. You having a spat with your mate, and it's a problem, you should be always looking towards the solution to resolve the situation that presents itself to be a problem, not keep going on with the problem.
Right, because
that
nothing
means you're
is
incomplete
being
as a person.
exactly nothing is being solved.
You're all problems, no solutions. With
right,
you.
exactly. You know.
But we need your expert problem opinion. We're gonna come get you because you seem to know all about the flaws. You ain't got a damn thing to say about a solution.
Yeah, because they just don't want to move on. They just want to stay right there. You know. And it doesn't matter. Yeah, it could be anything. A relationship, a job. If you're unhappy, you don't have to stay.
Yeah.
You know.
Choice.
Leave. Yes, exactly, exactly. But they don't, for whatever reason. You brought it up. You said financial. Some of it is being comfortable, and a lot of people are afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
They're afraid to be alone with themselves because they don't want to get to know who they are.
You know, someone told me not too long ago, not to cut you off, that I agree with them, that love is the total absence of fear. The more you operate in love, which is understanding, the less fears you have.
Yeah.
That's understanding.
Yeah.
Every situation you should approach it with understanding, and that removes fear.
Which is a very interesting point, because I think a couple of days ago I posted the reason a lot of people aren't in love is because they are afraid to allow themselves to be totally vulnerable.
Which is really when you're actually powerful.
Exactly.
When you can put yourself in a state of vulnerability, that's not weakness.
It's not.
That's actually a strength. But because the things in life that we're used to is perverted, inverted, and flipped upside down, we think vulnerability means you're weak. No, that means I'm so strong that no matter what you do in response to what I do, I'm all right with it.
Right.
Now, if I say, hey, man, I like those shoes, you're like, this nigga on my dick. That's you. That's how you want to respond? I kept it real myself.
Yeah.
I liked your shoes. I got it off my chest.
Yeah.
And I went on with my life. If you chose to take that as me being all the way on you like that, that's on you. That's your sticking thing.
But that's like a.
But I'm not going to live in no fear.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to see another person with a nice pair of shoes and I'm going to tell them the same thing.
But men, and y'all know this, men have a thing about complimenting other men.
As do women.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm the first to say, yeah, but I never have a problem with that because I can give props. You know, hey, you look good in that dress. I don't have an issue with that. I know that you are not like that. Yeah, but I know that there are men that are like that. Yeah.
I've said plenty of times, because I'm a big cologne guy. So if I smoke a guy's cologne, like if I smoke your cologne or whatever, I think we so caught up on that gay
sexuality.
that sexuality, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But it's all how you address it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had on some good cologne, I may be like, man, I've been sitting here all day. You know what I'm saying? We've been having this conversation, and I'm real big on cologne. Yo, what is that? Because that joint is butter. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus, man, you really smelling real nice tonight. That's that gay shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if I'm saying, yo, man, I'm really feeling that cologne, man. What is that?
Right.
And then next thing you know, we can get on the topic about cologne. You feel what I'm saying? And different things like that. But it's all how you. I've said to guys, hey man, yo, those some nice shoes.
Right.
I'm a shoe man. When I get back on my shoe game, man, I was into shoes. You know what I'm saying? Or suits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna compliment a man on his haircut. Man, you got a nice haircut. No, fuck that. I draw the line.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's who you are.
I draw the line. But if you got a nice watch on, man, I like that watch, man. Where you get that from? Or your cologne, or your suit, or your shoes.
Right.
That's as far as I'm gonna draw the line. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna give a person a compliment because when I step out the door, it took me a while to gain my confidence up as being a big guy. You feel what I'm saying? So, but now she tell you, Man, let her tell me we gotta go somewhere casual. Pop.
Yeah, like you can't wait.
Look, all this chick up, slay it down. You know what I'm saying?
It should be.
And it feels good when somebody can give you a compliment. You know what I'm saying? I compliment her all the time.
Right.
You know, like, hey, you know, you really know how to match.
But that's what
I mean, she matches. Look at her bag. Look at her jacket. Look at the jewelry around her neck.
That's what you call style.
You know what I'm saying? Her shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, if we was all female, she probably got the same color pants on.
Try that.
Well, you know, I told you I'm not really into the matching shit.
There you go.
But see, that's what it is, though. You have to be able to embrace that and not be afraid of what someone's thinking. And,
right.
And there's so many things within our community that we are under the oppression of. Like, we don't know how to compliment one another. We don't know how to talk about solutions. We don't know how to talk about things that need to be talked about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we want to sweep the dust under the rug, not knowing that dust is under the rug.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna have to lift that rug, and that dust that you swept under there last year is still there.
Yes.
With some new dust.
Exactly.
With some new dust. So we got to be able to be real enough and love ourselves and each other enough to deal with things in reality and not what somebody told us, like this old nonsense that men don't cry. What the hell I got tear ducts for?
That's bullshit.
Exactly.
But here's what happened. See, I was incarcerated before, and I seen people go crazy because they was under that same spell of ignorance that men don't cry. And now, because you don't cry, which is a natural release of emotions in liquid form, you gonna snap and lose your mind in this solitary confinement because you too macho to shed a tear when you need to shed a tear, because that's the best thing you could do for yourself.
Right.
But these are the things that we gotta really understand. There's no Easter Bunny. It ain't no Santa Claus. Men are allowed to cry.
Yes.
Okay. It's okay to compliment someone. It's okay to discuss things like sexual intercourse with your children. It's okay to actually look at what you've been taught and examine it for what it is. Is this applicable in every facet of my life, or is this some BS that I've been going about my life with? You get where I'm coming from? And as adults, we are only children who've grown up.
Right.
Now, if your whole upbringing was flawed, guess what? As an adult, you're flawed.
Yeah, but
and
you
then
can
you get in
change
relationships, and now you two people that's flawed.
Yeah.
And you got the nerve to have sex and make a baby. Now the third person is flawed, and it goes on and on and on.
If you don't change it,
right?
You know, like I said, my parents didn't talk to us. They didn't have the birds and the bees talk. But I said when I had my child, no, we're going to talk about everything.
And meanwhile, things were happening. Like, for instance, they didn't want to talk about sex, right? But still people was cheating on each other in the congregation.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing something, but you don't want to talk about it. And because you don't want to talk about it, you don't even want to talk about the fact that the deacon got his eye on the choir lady.
Deacon sleep around.
Even though he's married. Why? Because him and his wife are culturally brought up into not wanting to discuss things. Could have healed their marriage. Like, he could have said, hey baby, when we have sex, I might need you to do this, that, and third.
Right.
But because they taught that that's taboo, this natural chemistry that he got when his eye shifts and catch somebody else, where they don't even have to verbalize it, she already is what he's looking for, and she's already what he's looking for, vice versa. Right. Then they get into the, the cheating and the divorcing and this and that, because we grew up under this wrong understanding that certain things shouldn't be talked about. Yeah.
And not only that, or whatever goes on in this house stays in this house.
But if nobody talk about it, then how is it supposed to stay?
I agree. I agree.
Because it's going to happen in society.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
John Peter bed. And now nobody want to talk about that.
Right.
But the kids making fun of me when I smell like urine in school. And now you don't know why I'm so recluse and why I don't like to engage in conversation, because when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I got disrespected for smelling like urine. But nobody want to talk about in the house that John was peeing in bed every day.
Don't know why Lord Jimmy took a gun to school.
Right.
And killed about 13 kids.
Right.
Yeah, because there was
That's
signs.
psychological.
Because nobody wants to talk about things.
Exactly.
And that's how you talk about talking is the basis of every relationship.
Oh yeah.
If you cannot communicate, your relationship is flawed. That's in business, that's in personal, that's in family.
Yeah.
If you're not talking, you are going to be grossly affected in areas of any relationship. You got to
Yeah.
be able to communicate.
You have to. I think like
Even
growing
computers
up-
communicate.
of course.
Connecting to server.
Right. Yeah.
That's the computer trying to connect to the other computer.
Yeah. They're trying to make the connection. In church, you know, my dad was a Sunday school teacher, and I talk about this a lot. You know, the last time we were having a discussion about my father, the video wouldn't play. He's deceased, you know, but I'm just like,
Not tonight.
yeah,
Not tonight,
let's
sir.
not do that tonight.
Not tonight.
But
Mr. Ballard, not tonight.
I'm not gonna go too deep,
We're
but
not going to do Ghost Part 2.
yeah, it's not that. It was so weird, man. But he taught Sunday school, and he taught the new member class.
Oh, my phone died.
So,
No, I'm
see,
just playing.
really,
That was good.
he got
My mind
prime
always
pick.
get the solution. I got charged with what you said.
Look, the call right here.
That's how my mind automatically went to solution.
Right, because it's no problem. It's like, okay, how can we fix it?
Yeah.
You know, so he had a new members class, so he had his first pick, I said, at fresh meat, in a sense. You know, and so, like, when I would sit in his class, I would always see, got the woman that's always raising her hand to ask a question. I'm 10, and I'm like, she's next. She's going to be the next pick. At 10,
Yeah.
because I knew my dad. You know, my dad never he never hid who he was. And so as children, we always laughed, oh yeah, she's next, or this one because she keeps smiling. And my dad was so charming, and he knew that book, you know, he could, I mean, he could tell you front to back, you know. So you're sitting there watching, and then after class is over, you know, so-and-so come over, and he really laying it on thick, like, yeah, sugar, because he called everybody sugar.
That's right.
Yeah, sugar, you know, and I'm like, oh God, and
You
I'm,
see this movie.
yeah, exactly, and I'm like,
Careless.
you know, I'm getting the attitude.
Another one.
Another one, exactly. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm hungry,
Yeah.
and he looking at me like,
He hungry too.
exactly.
Major
But
key.
it was like,
Real smart.
You loyal.
so when people start saying certain things about the church, oh, this doesn't happen, and I'm like, nah, man, I see my father do a whole lot of stuff.
Firsthand.
Firsthand, you know, so don't sell me on that when I've lived it. You
Right.
understand? Let's talk about this. And to be honest, they were separated, but I mean, they were still together, you know. So you seeing this and you're like, oh man, this joker right here, at it again.
Yeah.
You know, but we can talk about that, and I shared a lot of that with my son. I'm like, listen, we've never had any blinders on who my father was.
Right.
You know, he was our father no matter what. But we could actually talk to him about it. I was like, you know, when I used to see you do certain things in church, I ain't like it. I got pissed off. He said, yeah, you did used to act a little chesky. I'm like, that's all you got?
Yeah.
Because I ain't like it.
At the end of the day, what he was trying to tell you was he gonna live in his truth.
Right, and but I didn't get
But
it.
thank you for your opinion. Put it
Yeah.
over here in the suggestion box, and I promise it's gonna be answered in
Yeah.
order it was just received.
Well, never got answered. I remember before he, you know, passed, I was like, I brought up a lot of different things, and he said I was young and foolish, you know, and I'm sorry. So, because he learned,
Right.
you know, but
You got to live and learn.
exactly. But the
You heard
fact
so.
that we could talk about it, to me, was I needed it.
Right.
Yeah, I needed that. So,
And that's healing.
yeah,
That's healing.
exactly,
You know, right or wrong,
exactly. I
let's
was
lay it
like,
on the table.
let's talk about it, but you can't, I mean, if you're not able to have the discussion, you're not going to heal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's what we miss a lot of. We don't want to talk about it, so we're never going to get that healing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I see our community plays with the most. You know,
Yeah.
like even coming in here to Baltimore, like I said off the air, and I look at my people, you conditioned, and it's like mentally they're stuck there.
Yeah.
And it seems that they're all right and complacent with it because nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to be honest with their peers.
Right.
Nobody wants to look their homeboy or homegirl in the eye and tell them some cold hard truth.
Oh yeah.
You look like you ain't been eating, bro. Or, hey sis, you look like you missed about 4 weeks of sleep.
Right.
What's going on with you? But see, when we go around allowing each other to just be at the lowest level, it breeds acceptance.
Yeah.
And that's what you gotta realize. When you fail to talk about something, you're automatically given an acceptance to the behavior
And the cycle continues.
in the situation. Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to talk about it. You know, the talking is good.
But it's not going anywhere. The problem is still going to be there. So now what? Do you?
You discuss it. You let it know. Because now here's the thing: if you tell the person that you so-called love, their breath stinks, and they don't want to go get that rotten tooth pulled, or they don't want to brush their tongue, or go on a 3-day fast. When you stop hanging around them, then they call your phone like, hey, what's going on? You're like, thank God you called on the phone, because face to face, it would have been a horrific situation. Because I keep telling you about your mouth.
Right.
And your mouth stinks.
Yeah.
So until you get that together, we can't hang out.
And some people don't.
And that's just the reality of things. You gotta be able to draw the lines, because this life is 100% our own to live. Each individual in this room has a life to live in their own. But if you care about people next to you, you should be able to discuss things. And the solution to whatever the problem may be is separate yourself from it.
Right.
Because if you talk about it and they don't adjust, it's just like a relationship. If you tell your significant other you don't like when they do this, that, and the third, and they continue to do this, that, and the third, then you have to do something radical, like cut it off, distance yourself, because this is the only teaching tool left at that point, because we've already talked about it.
Right.
And that's the thing, like when we say talking is good, it's important, yes. But in certain instances, we got to start doing solutions too, because we've been talking about reparation, we've been talking about slavery for years, we've been talking about injustice. Our talking is done as far as that's concerned. Now it's like, oh, you just won't do right. Now I got to leave you alone, or I got to let you face the penalties of your ways and actions. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
You have to shake some stuff up.
So yes,
in
talking
order to
is
get
good
change.
if it leads to a resolution. And if talking doesn't work, the next thing you do in that relationship is to enforce how serious you are about what you discussed that hasn't seemed to change.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. You ready? You gonna play both? Yeah.
Introduce it or something?
Oh yeah, the first one was Awakening, I think, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, we doing my joint.
Was that, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is something
Yeah,
I'm
we
working
can't
on.
have you on here and not.
And I appreciate the alley-oop bounce pass. You know?
Plug yourself up.
So tell us about Awakening.
Well, the awakening is see, with my music, I use it as therapy. So for me, at my point, there's an awakening for me being a sleeping giant in certain areas in my life, and I feel like now that I've awoken, or I'm in the process of being woke, that's what awakening is. That's a person waking up. Okay, so now I'm waking up to the truth, and the truth is me saying it, and I'm addressing things like a skirt. I'm saying how it is. You take it for how you feel, but I'm going to tell my truth, and I'm not going to be muted. I'm not going to be silent.
Okay.
Still got the freedom of speech, so why not use it?
Exactly.
So that's what it's about. It's about me awakening to my truth, and encourage everybody else to wake up to your truth. Wake up and stop sleeping.
Exactly.
No more sleeping in bed. Ain't that what Marvin Gaye said?
Teddy Pendergrass.
Oh, that was Teddy P?
Yeah.
Wake up, everybody.
Harold
no
Melvin
more
and the Blue
sleeping
Notes.
in bed. So my thing is I'm woke. And I'm not going to be duped because I was duped a lot in my musical career. I was duped in life. I was duped into a lot of things. And when I woke up, that was the most profound moment of my life when I woke up and said, oh, all this was bullshit.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It was BS. The mystery God was BS. You can't make it out the inner city was BS. Like,
right.
You gotta be loyal to people that's disloyal and disrespectful to you. Like, all that's BS. Like, I was really in some situations where I had to be loyal.
Okay.
Not knowing that you should only be loyal to that which is loyal in return. You know, so this is the awakening.
Okay.
Wake up. Go sleep.
You ready?
I'm still fighting. Like the hustle with the shit right. I do shit when I feel. Mix music with some real right. Like a struggle and I'm still fighting. Like the hustle with the shit right. Any minute I can get sick. Trying to get about the city lit. Heavy engine with the city's in. She don't understand how this shit is written. Hard to be a man when he's living gay. My dog Hawk on a city kick. It's awesome. And I'm getting lit. Since I've been young, said I need a gig. But my brothers be the thing my kids miss. Got a couple guns hid in the cage. Backing up drugs, trying to get it fit. Feel trouble pumping, was a witch. Told mama I'm a thug, but she was a bitch. Why that? I was mad. Blood stains with the black. I'm a thug, I do shit when I feel like. Mix music with some real right. Like a struggle and I'm still fighting. Like the hustle with the shit right. I do shit when I feel. Mix music with some real right. Like a struggle and I'm still fighting. Like the hustle with the shit right. From in the rain trying to catch a chill. Suckers in the way, so glad I met this. Puffing on his haze and I'm mad strip. Running through a maze on the last strip. They stuck up in the day trying to catch a breath. Now I'm using ways for the address. Spinning blocks, and I've been a home. My nigga 700 want a big one. I don't like this. They can be informed. Don't be on my phone if you ain't home. I provide a coat that you need slow. Never go broke trying to get a door. Chillin' on the block on the corner hall. Just building on the block on the corner hall. Swing with the sharks, leave a hard dog. I'm spitting from my heart, now a nigga talk. I do shit when I feel like. Mix music with some real right. Like a struggle and I'm still fighting. Like a hustle with the shit right. I do shit when I feel. Mix music with some real right. Like a struggle and I'm still fighting. Like the hustle with the shit right.
You're listening to Street Legal Radio, the best of hip hop and R&B.
I just did it, I'm back. Girl, sit in the lane. Young, give it a blame. Tongue spitting the facts. The freestyle fucking with none of my written raps. The life I live, you feel my still work. Little things up, I was flipping the real words. Cooked in the street, ripping the still word. Books to me, spitting the real words. Dawn on me, that it's all on me. If I give it all I got, then we all on me. Whenever see, have a seat, smoking half the beat. Look at ash on the floor, then I rap some more. My niggas too coming through, bringing cash to the floor. Get the champagne squad, imperial sippers. A man became God, put the fear in you niggas. Around psycho, shooters, serial killers. You suckers rice crispy, I hustle like this. Bustin' like this. Can't stop, won't stop, cause you might miss it. Till the day you die, you stuck in this life with me. OG's mad, it's comfortable like this. Something like Willie, jam ain't better, rusty like this. Move on, can't stand me, I'm too bold. Never been a guest man, another with a guest man. Niggas ride dick like this, with stretch hands. Throw a couple bands, let them do show. Throw a couple bands, that's the happy that I wrote with. Inside joke, many men out slack, many men out choke, many men out clap, many men out smoke. Keep acting like a crab, inside coke. I'm in fashion, flash, spitting my quotes. You a has-been, aspirin, I'm 10 times dope. Fuck all the fake love. You ain't gotta post nothing. Put myself in position with no front. No kickstart or go for me. 3D suit, gold bucket. I know how to deep breathe and slow hunt. I know the streets need snows coming. To all the sneak weed blows coming. Smoke weed in the city that's on trouble. Niggas ain't rapping, there's no nothing. Star got power to go something. My ball rip. I'm all with individual. Now that individual has come, I make no apologies.
Yeah,
That was hot.
appreciate that.
You're listening.
So we just had the pleasure of listening to 2 tracks. Oh, we have one. Okay. We just had the pleasure of listening to 2 tracks provided by Starkim, Young, Gifted, and Black, and The Awakening. Is that out? Is it out now?
The Awakening is gonna be out soon. I'm working on 3 projects right now. We're going to mixtape with a guy, DJ Mr. Effects from Queens.
Okay.
That's going to be coming out. And then I'm working on an EP that's going to proceed an LP.
Okay.
So I'm just in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like to do now and encourage everybody to do is just keep throwing your seeds into the field of dreams. And whichever grows first, pay attention to it until the other seeds catch and take hold. Because a lot of times what we do is we get discouraged because something's not growing. But if you throw a lot of seeds out there, something's going to catch.
Oh, yeah.
So at this point, me working on a mixtape, an EP, an LP, me doing things like this, me doing lectures here and there, whatever takes hold and grows, obviously deserves my attention.
Of course.
So that's what I'm here to do. I'm working, and this music's going to be available in 2018. It's not going to be far off. We're going to get this mixtape by early summer.
Okay.
We're going to get the EP right after that in the LP because I just dropped an album called Carpe Diem August 2017. So this year I'm planning on bombarding them musically with project after project after project because I'm not worried about who never gave me a fair share. I'm not worried about who didn't put me on. I'm putting myself on.
Right.
I'm that dude. I'm God.
Right.
And I say that humbly and unapologetically. The helping hand I need was extended from my own arm.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? The platform that I need to be on is going to be created by my works. Okay? And the leg that I need to stand on is attached to my own hip. So doing for self is about recognizing that you the one that's going to make it happen.
Right.
Before you start worrying about is somebody going to put you on or is somebody going to open the door for you, how about you create the scenario?
Yeah.
How about you create the conditions? And that's what I'm doing. I'm working.
You know
I'm
your
too
power.
busy. Yeah, I'm too busy working to wonder what's not working. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because if I throw a bunch of ideas into the universe, something got to happen. It's like a person with an automatic rifle. You don't got to be a marksman. You just let it go. You understand what I'm saying? And when you worried about your shots, that means you're limited.
Right.
No, I'm going to suppress fire. I'm going to stand up and I'm just going to let it go. Something going to get hit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Something. Because I know what I'm aiming for.
Right.
I'm aiming to hit something anyway. So therefore, whatever gets hit is because I realized that I got more success in doing more and saying less.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Get it done. I listened to The Real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah, that was 2012 right there. Yeah, and that was a dope record. I was man.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was with the Moet Project, and Moet stood for money over everything. And I came up with that acronym because I wanted people to understand that, you know, even the book of Ecclesiastes 10:19 said money answers all things. You know, like, you know, bread is for food and wine is to get married. But money answers things. And I wanted people to understand that money can be a metaphor for whatever. It's not just monetarily money.
Right.
Whatever makes you put your 10 toes down on the ground should be your goal. Okay? So if it's family being united, let that be what you consider money. If it's working out your marriage, let that be what it is. If it's getting your career on track, let that be what it is. So you put that over everything. And my favorite champagne at the time was Moet. So me being a creative, I said, all right, how can I make this an acronym that I can respect? And I've got acronyms from Wu-Tang Clan. When they came up with Cream, Cash rules everything around me. And then growing up in the nation of gods and earth, the lost 5%, when they started using acronyms for the word peace. Proper education always corrects errors. So I always felt that it was important to understand that acronyms are words that are created from different words that form one word. You know, like even we got the AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Like acronyms are words, and if you're a creative, you're trying to be as creative as you can in every instance.
Right.
So I took what I like as a favorite champagne, and the fact that I do like being creative, and breaking words down
Yeah.
out of other words, I put it together, and the project took a life on its own.
Yeah, that was hot.
So that's what Moet Ice came about. Moet
Okay.
Ice was money over everything involves constant elevation. Because once I got put on the Moet Ice, I started liking Moet Ice.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was a summertime drink. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because of the sweetness of the champagne. For those who understand champagne, you know, the sweeter it is, the more prevalent it is for a warm climate.
Right.
As opposed to the dry taste that you more get in the cold months and stuff like that. But those were the aficionados of champagne.
Right.
You know, not everybody hinted that. Some people just got
Yeah,
off
he
that
just
damn
went
beer.
deep on us.
You know, they don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. They like, is it cold?
Can I drink?
Yeah. Is it liquid?
Right. But then I think too that has a lot to do with exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you live, you should want to learn.
Yeah. But I think sometimes people, for whatever reason, are just afraid to step out of that comfort zone.
Sorry for you.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to you. My condolences.
I'm trying to think if I ever had a
Rest in
comfort
peace.
zone. So.
Because you're never going to get nowhere in playing it safe. Life is not about playing it safe.
It's not. You gotta live it. You know. I mean, while you're here, it's like.
You didn't come all the way here from eternity, from the essence, from the perfection of things, just to be walking gracefully and not breaking. Listen, you gotta break some eggs and make omelets.
Gotta step out that box because nothing is happening in the box.
Embrace it all, the good, the bad, and other.
Absolutely.
Embrace it all.
Yeah. So, what's next for Starkim?
Hopefully, what's next for me is continuing to elevate and evolve.
Okay.
That's what I'm always about. I'm
Right.
always about elevation and growth. I should not be doing the same thing a year from now unless it's by choice.
Okay.
Because if anything, if I'm still doing the thing I was doing last year, I should also have something else incorporated with it.
Right.
So, I live in the now, the past is over,
Right.
and the future hasn't happened. So, without it even happening, what I can say is, whatever is next will be about elevation and evolution.
Okay.
That's always going to be the case. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
whatever that may be, I'm ready for it, and I'm not going to live in the future to get myself caught up into anxiety.
Right.
And I damn sure ain't going to get caught up in my past and live in depression.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm doing these 3 projects, I'm doing things like this, and who knows, tomorrow it may be a whole new reality.
Oh,
Added on to what I've already just said.
Because you're building on top of.
Always going.
Yeah.
I'm never caught up in yesterday, and I ain't too hung up over tomorrow either. Because right now is the only moment I can really account for.
Right.
So we've been talking about this and that, and this and that. It's not going to be right for you to leave here on Easy Street.
Okay.
So we get naked here.
Go ahead.
Literally.
Look, I go to bed naked.
But we get naked here.
Buccaneer.
So I need to know,
Exactly.
because we discuss fetishes.
Okay.
Yes,
Here.
yes.
So
Inquiring mind.
what is your fetish, my brother?
My fetish, I'm assuming we talking about with a female.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope it is.
Yeah. What's my fetish? Man, I like so many things. See, first of all, I'm a Sagittarius, so let me lay that groundwork first.
You won't get bored.
No, yeah. I create my own thing.
Yeah.
See, here's my thing. Like, I know how to entertain myself,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't really got a specific fetish.
Okay.
I'm down for the action, but I want the action to be live,
Yeah.
raw and uncut. Don't be whispering. Don't be holding back,
Right.
because I'm gonna put on my socks
Okay.
and I'm walking out the door. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I don't really have a specific fetish. I just like it to be all the way live and
Gotcha.
lit.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it. Whatever it is,
cool,
you know,
yeah.
it's better to ask me what I don't like. So what I'm not with is body odor.
Okay.
There you
and poor hygiene.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a go. Cause I might suck your toe.
So you saying it's a go?
Yeah, it may be a go.
Nah.
So,
'Cause
okay.
I'm sorry. I can't let you leave out of here on easy street.
Go for it. Let's
You
do it.
can't.
Listen,
So let me ask you a
Big Nate,
question.
Big
Before
Nate,
you
Dr.
get
Lawrence,
started, wait a minute. Before you get started, shaving or not shaving?
oh, see, that's what I'm saying. See, again, I'm a very eclectic person. I may wake up and tell my lady, don't you dare shave that. And then
Okay.
maybe some days I say, listen, go ahead and put a razor on that thing.
Okay.
Because it depends on how
Where
I'm
you are at
feeling.
that, yeah.
I can change,
Okay.
but I remain
Right.
Starkim. So don't get caught up in yesterday's action, baby
Right.
girl, because I might be on something brand new tomorrow night.
Okay.
And you're going to be lost in the sauce trying to come in here with what you think I'm into.
Right.
You need to better off ask me.
Gotcha.
That's how I was thinking about, doing this thing. And I'll let you know, hey, I ain't into that right now. You go back to the other idea. Yeah.
Role play.
Whoa,
So
whoa,
what
whoa.
about role play? I mean,
I like creative.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
being
I
real
love-
nice.
I love
Being
it.
real nice. I'm ready to come out the door.
I mean,
I'm ready to get naked on this
Go for
one.
it. Go for it. Go for it.
So, are you into letting your woman massage your prostate? Woo!
She can't
Yeah!
massage my prostate because I don't need a massage. You know what I mean? I'm not getting no prostate examination. You know what I'm saying? Because the doctor can do that. I don't know if I need my woman massaging my prostate. Now, if she wants to get freaky deaky and she want to do some more extra
You want to let
stuff,
her toss yourself?
yeah, she can do that. I'm confident in my masculinity and my
Yeah.
manhood. Go ahead, do
There
your
you
thing. You want to lick my ass? Go
well,
for it.
but that's I'm gonna have to take it back to the prostate. I mean, I'm not saying she has to put a finger in your butt.
You're not
You
going to
know,
do that. That's what you're
right?
not going to do.
But she don't have to
We're
do
not
it.
doing nothing that looks like something that I got. Switch me my way. We're not gonna do none of that. Now you wanna use your tongue, you wanna get extra? Come on,
That's
let's go.
okay,
Yeah.
Let's go. Who am I to stop you in getting God's way?
Oh my God. But I mean, and it's funny because we always
And tell the
always
world.
throw
Yeah,
them-
she did it.
I throw them
Tiger
off
Woods,
when I
Tiger
come
Woods.
with that question because they're looking at me side eye, like. But I'm not saying she has to do enter in order to
Oh, that's a do not
massage
enter
it,
sign, automatic.
right? But I mean, she can access it another way. So would you be open-minded for that? She can,
How?
because that area is underneath your testicles.
Right, well, here's what I wanna know specifically. What other method is she gonna use?
She don't have to go in.
No,
She can massage it right under your.
I'm not comfortable with that, me per se.
Okay,
I'm
and
not-
that's cool.
Because one slip, then where we going with that?
Yeah, y'all just gonna
now
look
I gotta
at
question myself the rest of my life in my game. What happened? Because you could slip. You
can
could be
slip.
holding on to your
You're
phone
right.
and it fall around your
Yeah,
hand, right?
you're
So now,
absolutely
where's
right.
she around my little area where it's a do not enter sign and her finger slip
Boy, you
and
start-
bam, it's a, oh,
boy, you
oh,
start
am I
singing
gay now?
Start singing like
I
Philip
mean,
Bailey.
I don't.
So I don't know if I need that
Yeah,
in
and
my
I
life.
get it.
I don't
Yeah,
need that. So
I
we're not even gonna
respect
play that
that.
where
Okay.
it's too many things can go wrong.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Now the tongue is safe.
The tongue is safe.
That came out your mouth. And that's your tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, I mean, it's official now. You know, you
Get
call
your
it
Gabrielle
show
Union
now.
Treat me like G-Wing.
Oh my God. So you want to share your story?
No.
Oh, you
No.
You don't want to
Why-
get. You don't want
why-
to get naked
No. Why is always got, this is a
because
guest.
you brought it up.
Why is always
You
gotta be-
wanted him to get naked.
Yeah, but listen. it
Now
ain't
you
always
done.
tonight.
Now it's like hot
Some-
cross
listen,
buns.
no,
You done got quiet.
sometimes being a co-host, I have to.
Oh, did he really?
have to-
Mr.
listen.
Sensational, do you hear this crap?
Listen, sometimes as being a co-host, I have to come from out myself to allow others to shine.
Well,
Oh,
you
that's a
got
great one.
excited that, yeah. You got
I have
excited
to allow
about that.
others to shine.
Okay.
And once I allow others to shine, it'll make this world a better place.
And that's what we need to
That
know
was
that.
the biggest bunch of. Exactly.
But you
Thank
know what?
you.
In world politics, that would be politically correct.
Oh yeah,
These
you're
great
right.
politicians, they know how to really step around something.
Yeah, they dance around the truth a lot.
Oh my God, that's funny.
We had it's so funny because he was supposed to bring his special guest. Goddamn right. He was supposed to bring his special guest, and his special guest was a pillow.
Really?
Don't fucking judge me.
What's the pillow about? What's that about?
Yeah, what's the pillow about?
Hey, the pillow. Hey, what do you use your pillow for? Sleep, all right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I use mine for. Sleep.
Pillow talking too.
Pillow for sleep. Pillow talk.
Something about that pillow reminded him of a clit, and he just had to practice oral sex.
Oh, I don't even want to imagine that. I don't even
And that's
want to
exactly.
Don't fucking judge me now.
I'm not judging you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just letting you know I don't want my brain
Right.
to even go
He
there
on the
trying to figure out how that
ride
even
thinking
goes
about-
You know what? You know what, sir? Seeing that you're in the hot seat, I'm gonna let your brain go there.
No,
Let your brain go there, brother.
I can't.
Let your brain go there.
He's
It's
not
gonna be
able to
something
do
you.
it.
I need
He's
this
not
brain
able
for
to
other
do it.
important things. That's your fetish.
You know what? We run out of time.
Oh, I like that too.
See?
I like
Yeah.
I like that. Saved by the bell.
Well, tonight was a great show. We definitely enjoyed Starkim raising us with his presence. We will definitely have him back. So, and I'm just looking forward to being able to work, with him in the future on other things. So,
I'm ready for it.
yes. So next week, well, let me just recap a couple of things. This Saturday, I'm actually being honored at Black Wall Street Mother's Day event.
Oh, congratulations.
Right across the street, thank you, at Terra Cafe. I think it's from 2 to 5 p.m. So definitely come out and support.
Come on out, show love for one of your
Show
own.
love, exactly. And then I start filming for the reality show Breaking Code, I believe June 13th. And then we'll also be back at Corinthians Restaurant and Lounge the third Monday of every month. So definitely come hang out with us, with the patio crew. It's always a great time. So, yeah.
Shooting that film. I like the title of that film, Breaking Code.
Breaking Code, yeah.
That's very important.
Oh, yeah. So it's definitely going to be nice. I'll send out reminders for everybody and when it'll actually be on.
Listen, if they got a little position for a key grip person or something like that, let me know.
Okay.
I'm with whatever.
Yeah, I know. And that's what's so cool.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts? Be brief.
I don't know why you
Because, man, you
didn't
give
say
a
nothing. Nah.
long explanation.
I do
I
not.
just want it
I do
simple,
not. I do
short and
not.
sweet. What you got to say?
I'm gonna just hit the Russell Simmons. God bless you and good night.
Mr. Sensational?
Ditto.
Boy, two
My
cliches.
guest, Starkim.
Liz, peace and love. Enjoy life, live it to the
Yeah.
fullest, and don't let nobody tell you how to live your life.
Right.
Because you will be an absolute fool to do so.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good night, folks. Instagrammers, YouTubers, Facebookers. See you next Monday.
Peace.
Peace.
Ow.
So, did you like it?
I loved it. I loved
Good.
it. I love the energy. I love how you guys work with each other and play off every single thing. There's
Yeah.
not one drop ball. There's no dead space.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's free flowing.
That's how we like it. Hit that for me. Or pass it to me. We have another co-host, and he usually plays the steel drums, but he was unable to come tonight.
Okay, well, I hope I meet him in the next
Yeah,
pass.
you definitely will.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does, yeah.
It
Definitely.
was at 9 o'clock already. Like,
Right.
what's going on?
Exactly.
So how often I'm interested to hear their feedback.
Okay, cool.
Because one thing I didn't come in with no expectation.
Okay.
Every situation like that, because expectations leads to letdown.
Yeah.
So if you come in something open-minded, you can experience it better.
Right.
Get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, and it's funny because I wasn't sure. I knew once you came that you would have a good time.
Right.
But still, sometimes it's the unexpected. Like you said, you didn't have any expectations. You was just gonna go with the flow.
Right.
Which was cool because you were so natural, and that's what we want.
Who you are is going to appear.
Yeah, that's what we always want, for you to be natural, because we certainly are going to be, as you can see.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, be you, because everybody else come who they want the person to perceive.
Right.
Now you've been with this person 20 years, a damn imposter. You mean for 20 years you never liked lasagna?
Right, how about that?
Why you
Yeah.
can't make it?
Because I
you-
didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Oh,
Yeah.
my feelings.
Yeah.
Now, I'm more hurt now that you been eating something you ain't like.
Exactly. No, I gotta get a picture before we leave
Go
out
ahead,
of
let's
here.
do it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta come back now.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to get your whole ensemble?
No, I don't need that.
You sure? Because you wait for it.
No.
All right.
All right.
All right. I'm left or right?
I don't know. I'm gonna do both.
Okay.
You got it? All right. Let's do the other side. All right. Cool.
All right. Make sure you send me those.
I will. You didn't lock my number in.
No, because when we talked, I was in a barbershop in Atlanta.
Okay.
We was on the phone for like an hour. And shit.
Yeah. Oh, cause you was buying soap and stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You remember that? You got
Yeah.
sharp memory. So instead of me locking it, it was on my mind to lock it in.
Okay.
And all the calls I started getting bumped it out my call log.
Right. Yeah, that happens.
So that's
That
what it is. But I
definitely
got you
happens.
locked in now. We ain't gonna have that GMing each other. I'm in a whole new state. I
I know, right?
But that's how much I was committed to you know, being here and
Oh yeah, and I definitely appreciated that.
Absolutely.
And I was driving, I saw your message come through. I said, I just had to wait till I pull over.
Oh, some people been texting me already. They telling me their favorite song was this, that, and the third. You know, just opened up the can of worms.
Oh,
What
okay.
about Purple Lighter?
Wow, I listened to the real and I listened to the first 3 songs. It was like,
You know what's interesting with that? Like I used to roll with legendary rappers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't realize that they were dinosaurs.
Really?
They didn't realize that their thinking was extinct.
Okay.
And when I
I can
first
see
dropped my
that.
first album in 2012, I went against all odds.
Wow.
I'm talking about when you got prolific people like the Nas's and the
Yeah.
AZs and all that, and you know, trying to tell you what not to do,
Yeah.
and you really gotta be convicted in your heart of hearts and feel like, you know what, if it fails, let it fail because I failed, not because
right.
you talked me out of it and I didn't do it.
Right.
But here's the thing, now there's no physical CDs. Best Buy, everybody, they took them out because it's a relic now. Everything is streaming. But I was on the cutting edge in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I went through CD Baby. And they were like, oh, no, you need budget for this, you need this. They would start telling me all these things I needed and painted all kind of problems, but never gave me no solutions.
Right.
So you know what my solution was? I'm gonna put it out. And the hell with what y'all say.
Yeah.
And after I put it out, they had to come back to me like this. You know, that was fun. I ain't gonna lie. I was, yeah, because I had to be the first partaker
Yeah, you have to sometimes.
in what I felt was real.
Mhm.
I got to be the one to eat my own food before I
Right.
offer it to somebody else. I got to be able to stand firm
Right.
on what I'm doing, and that's what my mission is right now: is to debunk all those things that was not true and break the
Exactly.
codes, like
You
the
have
movie
to.
Baby Shoot, because these things are just they're not real.
Right.
Nobody has the
Yeah. Okay. Some kind of way. Not this shit. I don't know how to get it right.